Welcome back to Out of Left Field. I'm your host, Abby Alonzo. Our guest today is one of my favorites that I watched growing up. I'm super pumped. She was a second baseman at LSU, went to the Women's College World Series 3 years in a row, was called the heart and soul of the program by Beth Torina. She even suited up for LSU basketball. She's now got her own sports performance business that she built from the ground up. And she and I connected through my Instagram comments defending LSU's very own Jayden Heavener for talking her shit on the field. Constance Quinn, welcome to the show.
It's great
Yes,
to be
that's the energy I need. I need
It's
that.
great
Y'all,
to be here.
we had a little rough start. We're like actually half an hour late because my end of technology wasn't working, her end of technology wasn't working, but we made it happen. We're here because we got a lot to talk about.
Let's go.
All right, we're gonna back it up all the way to back in the day. You were a 7th grade varsity starter. Talk to me about that, because we're seeing the age groups get better and better, and that's like part of technology and just more knowledge around the game.
Right.
But what was that experience like for you to be on varsity as a freaking 7th grader?
Honestly, it was pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty wild. But
Yeah.
it's so crazy because when I think back to those moments, it wasn't even a thought. It did not cross my mind in the slightest, to the point where I'm like, yo, I'm gonna ball. Like, let's ball. Let's see if I
Yeah.
can really compete with these girls. And so it became a challenge for me. And that's when I truly understood, like, it's not about competing against others. It's really about competing against yourself. If you want to improve, if you want to hit that level, like, you really got to push yourself. So that's where I learned it and really gained that confidence. I'm like, yo, I can do this. Let's go.
It started early for you. And then, I mean, piggybacking off of that, you committed to LSU in 8th grade, which
Yeah.
rules have changed now. We're no longer committing when we're 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
But what did that recruitment process look like for you? Because that's a tough decision to make when you were literally not even in high school yet.
Yeah. Man, look, I was a diehard LSU fan, still am to the day. Yeah, you know it.
Come on.
So growing up, having family in Louisiana, as a matter of fact, my mom's brother-in-law, my uncle, he was a huge LSU fan. Him and my aunt. So yeah, like growing up, that's how I got accustomed to who LSU was and their culture. And so I remember watching this football game. It was hype, like hype. But I'm like, dude, what is it about that place? I've never seen that level of, hypeness. Like, so I'm like, okay, the TV's shaking, the crowd's going crazy. So I'm like, what is it about that place? So my dad encouraged me to look it up. So I did. And I learned more about them. I learned about the traditions of LSU, and I'm like, that's my second home. I'm going there. And so as a young girl, crazy thing was I got this vision that I was going to be competing at LSU, not only softball but also basketball. However, it was listen, truly a vision from God, because when I say I didn't question it, it was almost, Abby, as if I was like sitting there watching myself on television do it. It was the craziest experience, and I was so
Dude.
sure of it that I started sharing it with other people. Now, this is where I learned. You got to keep your moves silent. I learned this at a young age. You have to keep your movement silent, because when I started telling people, you know how like little kids will tell older people like, "Oh, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to be."
Yeah.
So I feel like that's how the adults were taking it. So like, oh, it's so cute. You want to go to LSU?
Cute.
I know. Like, I'm telling you, that's where I'm gonna go. So I started to put in the work. I'm asking my dad, how do I get quicker, faster, stronger? I had an older brother who also trained with, younger sister who also trained with, and so they pushed me. So I had people in every corner of which way, like, let's go. This is what you want to do.
Yeah.
It was only few people now that believed it. It was only few people that believed it. As a matter of fact, the first two that, when I said it, believed it was my uncle who introduced me to LSU, and then my grandmother, my mom's mom. And crazy story, they were the only two that were like, I believe you can do it. And I can't wait to watch
Wow.
you do it. Now, fast forward, neither one of them saw me play at LSU because they both passed in '09. So that was after I committed, though. They were a lot for me to see that commitment and experience that, but they just weren't able to see it in person. Me compete out there on that field. So it was like, man, this is a God thing, bro.
Yep.
This is meant to be. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
at a young age, it's like I know a lot of kids don't get that same experience, and that's what I wish like we could do something in that realm to create some type of atmosphere where they're
Mm-hmm.
getting that level of confidence through mental toughness. Like you can't just get that through talking and communicating. Like you have
Correct.
to be tested. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's how LSU kind of came about from that point. And then once I got there, it was just a no brainer. Like when Yvette Gerard offered me that, I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So first off, I'd like to say that, or I'd like to think that your uncle and your grandmother were with you throughout your entire LSU career, just how magical that was. So
For
they
sure.
might not have been able or been alive to see it, but they were 100% with you. But you just brought something up. You played for Beth Torina. So there was a coaching change. And that's something that kids have to think about. You commit to one coach and then you go play for another. So what did that process look like?
It was a little
Yeah.
scary in the
Yeah.
beginning, especially when I found out. And I remember Jesse Barksdale from Voodoo. That's who I played for in travel ball.
Voodoo.
Yeah, man. Come
What?
take this
I
back, take
know.
this back. So yeah, so he told me it was I don't remember who we were playing, but this was in Colorado, and he said, "Hey, Beth Torina is going to come watch." I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to slip." And so he's looking at me like, what is going on with you? Like, you don't talk like this. You don't act like this. Like you are acting outside of yourself. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose the scholarship. He was like, she's here to watch you play. She's here to watch you play. Just play ball.
Hmm.
I was like, all right, lights out after that. I never thought of it. But it is scary at first because you're like, this coach has to still want me. Like they can take
Yep.
what's mine to give to somebody else, easily. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Something that obviously, again, your career went pretty well. I mean, you went to 3 College World Series. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to get back to OKC back
Mhm.
to back to back. So, talk to me about your time at LSU and how your team was able to do that. What traits did y'all have? What was the energy like?
Yeah. No, you're not lying about that, man. Getting there one time is hard, but having to repeat, that becomes an
Dude.
expectation. So you're like, I can't fall short of this. This is what we have to do. We have to execute. So the lingo around practice, training, we were talking about the natty. Too many more days till the natty. Like they started
Mm-hmm.
creating stuff. Like we were really about that. All right, if we're gonna have to show up for training, what do we have to do, Mel? Make us strong. Do what we have to do to get there. Like, all right, this is what it required for us to get there. Now we have to take that and then double it up because we got to get closer to the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
That was like we knew we were going. There was no question. But that came from taking that loss my freshman year and falling short of that, losing to Arizona at regionals.
Yep.
That was like, yo, dagger to the heart. But it was so sad for me because I'm looking at the seniors and I'm like, that's not how they wanted to end the season. We were talking all season about getting back to
Right.
the World Series. And so I'm like, yo, as long as I'm here, I'm never feeling this again. If I'm going to end the season, we're going to end it in
Mm.
OKC. And so that was a word I kept, and that having teammates that backed that up and supported that as well and knew their role, that's the part that I think misses out on, as far as athletes miss out on, is not knowing their role and not thinking that they have purpose just because they're on a bench. Like, yo, that's where I started. I came in, like you
Yeah.
said, second grader, playing varsity. I sat my behind on the bench most freshman year, and I'm like, bro, like you talk about humbling. Yeah, crazy, crazy. So
And I'm going to say something that might be a little bit of a hot take. It's not a hot take. I'm just going to be brutally honest.
yeah.
The generation, like the entitlement that has started to leak into the younger generations, like
Mm,
some of these kids don't understand your role on the team might not be the starter. You might be sitting
sure.
the bench and riding the bench for 2 years before you get a chance. Like that's part of it. It's a team mentality versus a me mentality. But
Mhm.
that's something that these younger kids might struggle with a little bit just because of the way the generation is and, immediate gratification and the phones and all
Yep.
kinds of stuff.
Yep.
So when we talk about knowing your role, you just said you sat the bench. That's where you started. And then you built your career from there. But advice to kids who aren't the best right off the bat and do have to, do their time maybe in the dugout for a little bit.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them to, stick to that role and be confident there?
Yeah, for sure. I like that because it requires a level of accountability. Okay, what am I doing or not doing? And that's hard, that's tough because you want to be that starter. You want to be out there. You didn't work your butt off just to ride the pine. Like, you're not satisfied, especially at
Right.
LSU. Like, you want to be out there, and that at least was the mindset with everyone else. So it's hard to go in there and be like, I don't care when everyone else cares, everyone else is
Mm-hmm.
competing. But for me, it was remembering that little kid that had that vision and was like, "Yo, God didn't place that on me for me to be complacent ever, for me to be satisfied ever. Like it's one thing to be content. You're like, okay, I got it. This is where I'm gonna be at. But how do I make the most of it? So I'm like, if I'm gonna sit the bench, how
Yeah.
do I make the most of it? I have something else that I bring to the table. I have something else that I bring to this team other than my bat, my glove, my arm. I have a voice. Like so I'm about to get it lit in this dugout to the point the fans are involved. Everyone's again. It's going
Yeah.
to be a village. It's going to be a community type of feel to where like everyone's invested. So it's not just the people on the field. You got us in the dugout. Like that made me feel like, all right, if I can't bring it in the roster, I can bring it. I can bring it in the dugout. So that's my advice to any young kid out there in the same situation.
I want to get into your personality and the energy you brought, but I want to ask a little bit of a broader question, maybe a little bit deep. What's the difference between, you said being complacent and being patient?
Mm. See, I think with complacency, you have a almost like a not give up, but like you're like, okay, I'm at ease, like feet are propped up, I'm gonna sit back, I don't have to go as hard.
Yeah.
Whereas patience is you know that your time is coming, you're still putting the work in.
And I
That's
think that's important. That goes
that's right.
outside of softball. Like that goes in life too. Like as you're building a career, and we can talk about your business and like what that took. Because also, y'all, entrepreneurship is hard. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes.
But a lot of it
It is.
goes back to complacency versus patience and being able to keep your head down and still do the work when things aren't happening right away. You're not being rewarded or validated right away. So I'm glad I asked that question.
That's right.
But before I asked that
Yeah.
question, I said I wanted to talk about your energy and your role on the team because Beth Torina said you were the heart and soul. I think that was very evident to anyone who watched softball while you were at LSU. You
Yeah.
were leading the chants. You were all up in the dugout. Like you could feel your energy through the TV, honestly. So what, like, that was your role, but like to hear Beth Torina say that about you, like, what did that feel like?
Yo, that's my coach, man. Forever my coach. I love her. She just hearing that and knowing that just lets me know that she saw me for what I brought to the table. And she pushed me to a whole nother degree. That's why, besides my mother, my sisters, every other woman that has played a role and poured into me, Beth Torina has a lot to do with why I'm standing where I'm standing now,
Mm.
and that's why I will forever have that woman's back. If I can go back and put the jersey on, I do it in a heartbeat for real. Because she understood me, but she knew, yo, you're here. Like, let's get you there. If you're saying that as long as you're on this team that we're going to go to the World Series, then I got to push you to that point. She kept her word. I kept my word, and we went about it like that. So yeah, hearing that that's a blessing, man. It means a lot.
Is there a moment that you remember with her that was like just a core memory for you during your time at LSU with her as the head coach?
Sheesh.
You're probably like,
so
yeah, there's like 100 of
there's
them. I played for her
so
my whole career.
like it is good moments and it's bad moments too. But the bad moments we look back and laugh on, man. Like, oh, like Oh, let me think. Let me think. That's a good question. I've
Like,
never like actually sat and processed that.
which one just pops to the front of your mind when you think LSU Beth Torina? Like, what comes to mind immediately?
You know what? Okay, I got you. I got you. So freshman year, we're at Northwestern.
Uh,
Northwestern, yeah, yeah, yeah. So this was during Mardi Gras week,
oh Lord.
but we were there freezing cold. Yeah, yeah, freezing cold, right? So Bianca Bell's up to bat. Coach is standing on third coaching, and Bianca hits this laser beam, like laser, and it knocks Coach out, like decks her right in the head. She collapses, hit the ground hard. We're like, so everyone in the dugout is quiet. Bianca's crying. We're crying. I'm praying like, God, please, please. Like, she wasn't moving. It was
Oh my.
like it was scary, right? Pam runs out there. The athletic trainer runs out there, and for Pam to run out there, it's something serious. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
so she's tough. She's in the best of the athletes, right? But so she runs out there. Coach finally gets up. Okay, blood is coming down her ear. She's obviously she needs to get off the field and get checked. So she's walking around. We're like crying, scared, praying. She's like, "Let's go, let's go." I said, "That woman is not real. That woman is not real, bro."
Blood
That's
out
like
coming out of her ear.
Take Tori Edwards, bro. Take Tori Edwards. I honestly, I think Tori might be stronger than me. I don't know. I don't know. They might have to do like statistics and show that science. But take Tori Edwards and have her hit a laser beam. That's just about the type of impact that was made. So for Coach to get up, walk off, look at us dead in the eyes, and like, let's go. We went nuts after that, man. I said, you know what? I might not agree with every single thing, but I will go through a wall for her. She wants to win, bro. She wants to win. She was like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, blood pouring.
Yeah.
Dude, a line drive to the head. And then blood.
To the
I
head.
just, oh, but y'all were fired up after that, I'd imagine. Y'all were like, it was over. It was done.
Yeah. It was
It
done.
only took a line drive to the coach's head. It's fine.
That's all it took.
You mentioned Tori Edwards. I do want to talk about this year's LSU team. But before that, I need to know how the basketball, I know you said you had a vision, but how did that unfold? Yeah. Because we don't see too many two-sport athletes in college, especially female athletes. How the hell did that happen?
No. Yeah, so fast forward to when I received my scholarship, right? Eighth grade. This was Bama weekend, by the way, fall season. So sitting down, Yvette Gerard, Hobbs, DeFeo, well, Hobbs now came, but DeFeo, they were the coaches at the time, Quinlan Duhan. So it was my mom, myself, my dad, and she gives us a piece of paper, you know, with the list of things that the entire scholarship is covering. Like, not a dime is going to have to come out the pocket, right? So my mom's crying, my dad's in awe, like, what? And I'm just chill. I'm so chill, like, so just nonchalant. Like, I truly was nonchalant before that was a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I knew this was going to happen, but this is pretty dope to see this amount being poured into me. So Yvette Gerard, she looks at me, she was like, "You have any questions?" I said, "Yes. Have there ever been any two-sport athletes to come to LSU?" So my mom looks at me. She says, "Constance, why would you ask that?" Like, what's the big deal? My dad starts laughing. So Coach G starts laughing. The coaches are laughing. And so I'm like, I just want to know. I'm curious. Well, I didn't openly say when I was younger, I had this vision. I just knew to keep that to myself because they didn't have to know. I just needed to know. Wasn't really possible. So Coach G laughed and she said, "Yes, it's very much possible. We've had athletes do it. It's tough, but it can be done." She told me that. I said, "That's all I need to know. It can be done." And so fast forward junior year, walking to class, Coach Torina calls me. She was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Walking to class." And then she said, "You want to play basketball?" And I'm like,
Shut
"What?"
up.
So I'm looking at the phone like, is this Beth Torina calling me, asking me? I said, "Yeah, but what does that mean? Like, am I off the softball team?" Like, I'm like,
Are
"What's
you
going
kicking me
on?"
off?
She's like, "No." Oh, like I'm like, are you kicking me off? Like, and she was like, no, Connie, like, I'm asking if you want to play. They need an extra player, a few extra players. So I'm like, yeah. But the decision was not that instant though.
Right.
I toyed with it, right?
Did
I went back and
you?
forth because I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, that's behind the scenes. I went back and forth with the decision. I would say yes, and I would say no. Then I was like yes, then I was like no.
So you were
Yeah.
toying back and forth with this decision.
Yeah, I was toying back and forth, man. I was so like I was scared to get
Okay.
hurt because sophomore year I lost my position. This was right after our last SEC play. I believe it was
Mm-hmm.
Missouri, if I'm not mistaken. So they were our last season play. I was at second. I made a ton of errors. I dropped pop flies. Like there was just no excuse. I was really in my head, right? Like those were mental mistakes. And it just kept snowballing. And it got us to a point to where as a team, we were like this close to losing. So coach was like, we can't afford that
Yeah.
to this part of season. So her and the other coaching staff actually sat me down at the hotel later on that night and discussed that with me. She was like, moving forward, we're gonna have to just keep you in the lineup to hit, but let Sydney Berg play second because we have to have these routine outs. And I'm like, look, I understand, which was kind of cool because once we got to postseason, all I had to do was worry about hitting. And I have to
Yeah.
worry about fielding. I was still pushing Sydney Bird, whatever she needed, I was there. But I got to focus on one thing, just one role, one position. So but coming out off of that year, I'm like, I'm not losing my position this year. Like, like I appreciated what that moment did for me, but
Yep.
that's not happening again. It's not for me to repeat it. So when I was like, I don't want to get hurt playing basketball, I was a little selfish. I'm like, bro, I don't want to get out there, get hurt, and then have to
Right.
miss out on my season, because I'm trying to come back type of thing. So I had a conversation with my mom and I remember she said, don't forget that question you asked Yvette Gerard based on that vision that you had. Never forget that. You received
Mm-hmm.
that for a reason, for a purpose, and that is to fulfill it. That is a part of your purpose, your plan, God's plan. So you're toying with this because there's a hindrance behind this decision. There's something that's keeping you, fear, and that's really what it was. So yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, we
yeah.
could go on in a rabbit hole about fear. I feel that is such
Hmm.
a. You know what? Backtrack. Your perspective on one losing your position because that's tough. That is hard to be sat down by your
Yeah.
coaches and told the best thing for this team is for you not to play this position right now. That is hard. Your perspective of I get it. I'm going to focus on the one thing y'all are asking me to do, and I'm going to be really damn good at it, is something that every athlete watching this should note. Two, fear.
Yeah.
Fear is the biggest thing that holds you back. And for you to have that vision before you even committed to LSU, before it was a conversation that it could happen, and to still go back and forth with that decision because of fear, I think speaks a lot to things that athletes run into because of fear. So when we talk about fear in softball specifically, how do you overcome that to make sure that it's not hindering you from being the best athlete you can be?
Yeah, yeah, great points right there. You see it a lot in kids now. For me, and I don't want to say this works for everyone, right? There's
Yeah.
different strategies, whatever, but everyone has a purpose. So it's having a deeper meaning, a deeper intention, much deeper than surface level. If we only keep things surface level, there's only so
Mm,
far we would go for it. Like it's just like planting a seed, right? Once you uproot that seed, it no longer serves a purpose. So the roots is what keeps it grounded. It's just like a mustard seed. It's not so much about its size, it's the roots underneath that make it as mighty as it is. So if we take that same concept and apply it to ourselves, when we're talking about goals, like it's in conversations that you're having. If you have friends around you, people around you that are not able to uplift you, have intellectual conversations to improve your knowledge, your wisdom, all of those things, you're
mm,
behind. You're not getting better, you're just maintaining, which is
yeah.
worse. You know what I'm saying? So understanding the why, understanding why you were created, understanding the meaning of your name and how that ties in to your gifts, your character, how you carry yourself. Like once you start seeing the connection of everything, then you start to understand, okay, when I step on the field, I have to step on the field with the intent of I want to play the best that I can possibly play. It might not look as good as yesterday, but I can find something to be better in today. So when you understand the love that you have to have for that why, that's where the love of the game
Mm.
comes back. Because then you're like, all right, I want to grow. I want to get better. Not just for the fame, not just for the money. I just want to get better. We're taking it back to what it used to be because that's the foundation. Like everyone's like, you have to evolve. No, you don't. We can stick to what was. What was is why they
Mm.
have what they have today. We can't forget where it started, where
Ooh,
it came
that
from.
was a gem. That was just right there,
Hey
delivered
man.
perfectly. We'll close the LSU chapter, but what was your favorite moment? Like, and I know you probably have so many, but like, if you could go back to one moment in an LSU uniform, what would it be?
One moment. Uh, that was definitely the first time going to the World
Mm.
Series. That was like, yo, I dreamed about this. I was watching other people do it when I was a kid. I wanted to go out after it, achieve this goal, and I finally did it. Like, so I have to say, yeah. First time going.
Oklahoma City the first time. Again, to do it once is hard
Yeah.
enough, but 3 times is something most people will never taste,
Yeah.
can't even dream of. I teased it
No,
at the
man,
beginning,
telling you.
but you and I
Okay.
actually crossed paths in my comment section because I had something to say about people jumping down Jayden Heavener's throat for waving off an Arkansas player that
Yeah.
she struck
Yeah.
out. Here's the thing. My opinion on this is let them do their thing. If
Okay.
you want to talk shit, be competitive. It's on you to back it up. But I want to hear from
Right.
a former player what your opinion is on it because I've seen I mean the comments are going back and forth. They're still going back and forth. And this took social media by storm
It's
specifically
crazy.
because of the double standard. We watch male athletes do it all the time and it is normalized and it is great.
That's
I
right.
love to see that. Let the girls do the same thing. So, your
Yeah.
take. I need to know.
Yeah. That's man, listen, I've been dying to talk about this because I've had conversations with former athletes. I've had conversations with former players, and it's hey, that's not how we represent LSU. We were this, and it's like, yeah, for sure. There's always a better approach to things. However, let's not act like we were not in that jersey at one point. Let's not act like if anybody ever did this to one of our teammates, we were going to find each and every opportunity to do it back and then some.
Right.
We were going
That
to create a cheer. Like let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like
yes.
that's
Yes.
that's that's my thing. And I agree with you. That's why I said thank you because I'm like, for one, speaking up for her for LSU because having the opportunity to meet Jayden, like until you meet that kid and actually see the type of woman she is, young lady she is, you shouldn't speak on her character. You know
Right?
what I'm saying? Like, regardless, I get it when it comes to pride and knowing what LSU stands for, but we also about that. We also fight. We also
That's
handle
it.
our business. We have each other's backs. Like, you're not about to step on our field or step on any field and do that to a player or a coach or anyone of that matter and think we just gonna chill. Like, no,
Right.
no. We were ready to fight when I played. We were ready to ball, like for real. So, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like
Yes.
we're older now, right? So we've matured. But it's I get it. So that's why I laugh and I'm like you. If you can back it up, talk that
And
talk.
the thing is,
If you can back it up, talk that talk.
right. And my thing is like, I don't think that was crossing a line. We watched a bench clear and
Mm.
punches get thrown last night in the MLB, and it's entertaining. That's crossing a line. This, after the other coach does it first, I think that is part of the
Thank
competitive
you.
nature of elite athletes. Like the reason that y'all are playing at this
Crazy.
level is because you innately have a competitive hunger And when you put that on one field and you're going against each other, you're going to see personality come out like that. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I
That's
think we
right.
need more of it. Now, there's a line, right? And you don't want to cross it. You don't target people's character. You don't there are things that you don't do. But I don't think this should have been the problem that it caused on social media. And I will stand by that. And I just don't. And again, somebody came at me and said something about, we hold that standard across all sports. I said, please go watch your favorite football team's highlights and then come talk to me about class.
Thank you.
And celebrate. We don't say anything about grittying or getting in people's face after you tackle. Not at all. And again, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I love that shit. That is that's what makes sports fun. But let the girls do it too.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry.
Thank you.
I got on my soapbox a little bit.
Well, you're getting into the problem with society now. It's put a woman in a woman's place. What place? First off, what place?
Yeah, right?
Women are too emotional. How? How? We're put in a place and we're told to be quiet, but we're overly emotional. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that lets me know that majority of it is men, right? And they see a level of dominance. They see a level of courage. They see a level of strength that I don't want to say is lacking, but sometimes when it comes from a mouth like that, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you truly feel insecure or beneath, you are going to project that in your words and your actions. So men that speak on women being in a woman's place, or she can't be emotional like that, but a man can. Who are you to say what a woman can do? You're a man. How can you tell what a woman should or should not do? That's, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it right there though, Abby. I'm gonna keep it right there.
Clock it. Oh yes, I needed that. Also want to throw in there, y'all can't be telling the women to make their sport more entertaining and be less boring and then shit on them when they try to do that. Okay, we'll leave it there. But I had to, after we connected that way, I was like, we have to bring this up. We have to talk about it. Like, it's such a big thing right now. We'll round out because God only knows how much more connection we have here before you tap out again.
Yeah.
But you built your own business, Sports Performance. You talk a lot about rotational, like you work with athletes on movement that they need, not just lifting heavy, but like rotational, functional things that are going to help them in their games. Talk to me about that journey and what inspired you to go that route.
Yeah, listen, since I was a little kid, I love the concept of working out training, understanding movement, understanding the body alignment. And I got to give that to my dad, my brother, different trainers that poured into me. They taught me that. So I was a sponge, I was a student of it. So once I began to understand the connection, and like, okay, this is why I have to put this amount of force in the drill so that I can actually do it without even thinking when I'm on the field or on the court, whatever sport I'm playing. So that love, it was a true love, became like this passion that I'm like, after I was done playing, I really want to stay in sports, but what's my role? What's my, my path? And so when I realized it was training, I'm like, yo, I can train any athlete. I don't have to play the sport to know it, to train the person. And I think a lot of people have that concept, but I wanted to change that. I'm like, I'm a woman. You don't see very many women out here doing it. I want to do what's never been done. I want to change the game. I want to bring something new, something different, because I want to inspire other women like myself to step out and do it, So that was the initial drive behind it.
What do you love most about what you do now?
The impact. It's deeper than training somebody to be stronger, quicker, faster. It's so deep. It's like you're understanding. You're going to have trials. You're going to have errors. You're going to have tribulations, adversity. But if you can face this workout and execute it, you can do it in life too. It's as simple as that. And once you get people to see that, and it's like this light bulb. It's the most beautiful moment as a trainer, as a coach, as a person, because you're like, I mean something. I'm pouring into this person. I'm needed. So that's like that's purpose.
I love it. Last one for you. if you could give one piece of
Okay.
advice to a young softball player watching this, and they didn't pick up anything but this one thing you said, what is it?
Have faith. Have faith above all else. That you brought up the fact that, fear it's a thing, right? Even though we know fear is not real, it's made up, but faith over fear conquers every single time, because faith requires you to believe in something you can't see. Oftentimes you can't hold, it's not visible, but you're hoping, you're trusting that it's going to happen. So if you learn to have faith now, once you start facing real stuff, man, you're going to conquer it. You're going to go through it like nobody's business. You're not going to look like the hell you're going through, and that's going to tell a volume of stories, testimonies for anybody that's watching and listening.
I've done a lot of these episodes. That was probably one of my favorite pieces of advice that goes for every
Come
day.
on. Come
I
on.
swear to you,
That's what's
really,
up.
that's something that you take into everyday life. Every moment of your life, you are faced with a decision to choose faith or fear. And you choose faith. Choose faith. I love that. Constance Quinn, you
Yes,
are
sir.
a gem. This was awesome. I laughed for real. The whole process of recording this podcast was hysterical, but we got some good stuff, and I think our viewers are going to be pretty happy with it. So make sure y'all subscribe. We'll be pumping out content. We're going to keep this thing rolling. The mission is to grow the game, and we do it by talking to some of the best who played and are making an impact post-career. So thank you so much. We'll see y'all soon.
That's what's up, Abby. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on, man. This was a